the Rolling Stones are not playing Brown Sugar on their current tour, their No Filter tour.
Yep.
And Keith Richards was asked about it the other day. For people that don't know about Brown Sugar, a lot of people think it's about a black woman. How can we taste so good? Brown sugar? It's not. It's a heroin / slavery type of thing. And if you want to go Google Brown Sugar in Wikipedia, you can find out what the song's all about. He didn't really say that they don't play it because of that, because of our current situation with political correctness and wokeness and all that stuff. He didn't say that, but he did make it sound like he didn't want to have to answer questions about why they still play it. And it's a still song. I heard it this morning. We play it. It's a classic and one of the best well-known songs from the Rolling Stones. They're not going to disown it by any stretch. But for some reason, they're not playing it. And you would think, I would say, name the top 5 Rolling Stone songs. Brown Sugar would probably be in a lot of people's top 5. And so people do want to hear it. It's a great song. They're known for it. And so I was a little surprised. And so he kind of, in his random kind of way, said,
Yeah.
We just don't want to go there. We don't need to play it. And it wasn't that it just didn't come up in rotation. I'm sure when they put their set list together, because they've got 100 million great songs you could hear. What about Brown Sugar? We're playing Start Me Up. We're playing all the hits. Let's just let that one rest. Maybe it's just something they don't want to deal with. And then I start kind of going through. So, when we first created all the music on this radio station, I play some songs that have some profanity in them because you will not hear them on terrestrial radio.
Right.
Not because of that.
But they happen to have.
But they happen to have. And not a lot of it. I mean, for the most part, you can listen in the car with your kids, and you're going to be okay. And I'm thinking like a song like Black Betty.
Yep.
There's like they're just swirling in my head all these songs that maybe would not be like we talk about All in the Family. You could not do an All in the Family TV show now. You just couldn't do it.
Right.
You have shows that go the other way, like Blackish and other things that celebrate and make fun of different cultures, but it's coming from that culture itself. And so I do wonder if we're going to get to a point where you're just not going to hear these songs anymore. And
no, you'll hear them.
I don't want to be.
You'll hear them because of digital. You'll hear them.
Well, you'll hear them, but not nearly as much as you hear them now.
Yeah.
And you could certainly make an argument because of the Confederate flag thing we had going on and the Ole Miss. You can make an argument for Leonard Skinner. I mean, their staying power is so huge, and there's so many P1s, and they are a great classic rock band. Their music will always be first and foremost in our minds when it comes to Leonard Skinner. But you can certainly make an argument that Leonard Skinner should be woke or whatever.
Wait, why? But why? Because of their songs, or because I think you have to. You got to be able to tie together what's not right about it.
Yeah.
So you could say what the band stands for. You could say the band's costuming. You know what I mean? Like you could say the songs. I think it's important that you say
they've done a good job at separating themselves from we're Leonard Skinner. We're here to play music. This is what we wrote. This is what we have.
We're Southern rock.
Now, if you want to come to our concert and you want to put a Confederate flag on your truck wear it, then that's yours. Then you do your thing.
Right.
Places like Talladega Superspeedway have taken it a step farther and said, we're not going to allow these things, but Leonard Skinner is not going to alienate their P1 customers or their biggest fan base by saying you're not allowed to do that. And you could even
is there any band of any concert where you preemptively can't have something, wear something?
Pretty much. I mean, as long as it doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. You
piss too many people off.
Well, because if it pisses too many people off, then you're going to have. Well, the other problem is it's selection bias.
The
kinds of people coming to the concert. But I think with music, like written words, poetry, novels, books, I think anything goes.
Well,
I think anything goes.
Well, you got libraries pulling out Dr. Seuss books.
Well, but again, Dr. Seuss Corporation, for all the people, believe me, I almost jumped. Jules jumped in on that one on social media. Great, we can read green eggs and ham. No, you can read green eggs and ham, you dumbass.
Yeah.
You can. It's Dr. Seuss pulled a couple of its more obscure books, which had racist undertones. They pulled it.
Yeah.
The libraries didn't pull it.
Yeah.
So, again, I could see. Well, Rolling Stones. I'm not saying they're going to do this, but they could come out and say, you know what, it's time to hang this one up because X, Y, Z. And I've seen a couple interviews. I saw Mick Jagger talking about it a little bit. I hate when they're squishy about it. Just say what it is. Say, this is what the song was about, and this is why we're going to keep playing it. Or we wrote this back when, and it's not appropriate now. Like, I don't, commit. Don't be squishy to me.
Well, I mean, the Stones
Keith
can be
Richards may
squishy because they're in their upper 70s and they've already written their story and they're done their book and nothing's going to change outside Mick Jagger killing somebody, right?
Right.
And so by being squishy, I think what they say is, I think they could care less whether they play Brown Sugar or not because they've got so many songs.
Right.
And so they're like, yeah, we're just decided.
Well, that's kind of what I got to say. It's not right now.
There's really no reason why they need to come clean. If the reason someone from corporate said they didn't think it was a good idea we play Brown Sugar, because then they're creating a hornet's nest. They can just say, listen, yeah, it's got some overtures and it may just not be politically correct for our time right now, but it never will be because we're never going to go back to that time. And the other thing is, and I think this is important to realize, that writings, pictures, and music are all art.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's okay.
And the most important thing when it comes to classic rock for me, and I've heard some songs from the 70s and 80s, I'm like, whoa, wow, that's stuff that I used to love playing, and I still play it. It's art, and I like when the artist leaves it up to the interpretation of the user to take it where they want to go. Okay? So, and that goes for erotic art, that goes for classic rock, that goes for hip hop, that goes for anything. It's an art, and so I think that needs to be protected. Again, they don't have to play it if they don't want to. Maybe the Rolling Stones have changed. Maybe the Rolling Stones, maybe they were the ones that said, Brown Sugar,
that's exactly
it's a great song. They could do Brown Sugar and change the words to it, and it's still a great song.
Absolutely.
It's a great song. The melodic, the rhythmic, all that stuff is great. It's a great song. It's not about so much the lyrics. I would venture to guess that half the people watching and listening right now don't even know what Brown Sugar is about.
Yeah.
They don't.
Right.
They just know Brown Sugar, how come you taste so good? It's just but I mean, to go along with that, you can take it a step further with the Me Too movement. We do our AC/DC show every Wednesday night.
I mean, half. 3/4.
90% of every song they ever wrote is about a woman.
Yeah.
Whole lot of Rosie, Girls Got Rhythm, Night Prowler. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on and on. But they're not woke, and people aren't stop listening to AC, and they're still writing songs about teeny boppers and groupies and getting after it after concerts. So, it's really up to the listener or the viewer in this particular case whether they think it's the right thing to be played or not. And I can promise you that when there's no one leaving a Rolling Stones concert because they're breaking into an encore of Brown Sugar.
No. And I think, where I think it gets interesting, to be honest with you, is the difference between the song and then the artist. I was just, as you were talking, I was thinking about Morgan Wallen, who is, number one in the country charts.
Yeah.
He's still not allowed. He's still not allowed to the CMA Awards this year, the Billboard Awards. But the reason I'm saying this is because of his racist comments, independent of his music. Mm-hmm. His music doesn't have, or at least the songs that I'm familiar with, do not have racist undertones. Mm-hmm. But he does. And I think that's the other part that gets interesting is, do you, it was the Dixie Chicks. Great example. Do you pull an artist because of their music, or do you pull an artist because of them? And I think there's a big difference between the two. I mean, you can't. The music is what the music is, and you can. And if it's a statement that the artist is racist or homophobic or whatever, and we see this Kid Rock's get stuff like this. Eminem has had stuff like this. So again, it is your choice whether to listen to music or not, and it's your choice to have your interpretation of the artist. Mm-hmm. And it's not the artist's responsibility to say something, but this is just me. I think if you're an artist and this thing comes to the top and it comes to the thing, you speak what it's about. You say, I hate the dancing.
Yeah.
I hate it in politicians. I hate it in sports figures. I get why they're doing it, but don't dance, because that's the other thing. You're not fooling anybody.
Yeah. Do you remember the song from the stories called Brother Louie? The Louie, 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 Louie.
Yeah.
I heard that song over the weekend. And
what is that about?
It's about an interracial love story.
Oh, okay.
She was black as the night. Louie was whiter than white. Danger, danger, when you taste brown sugar. Louie fell in love overnight. Nothing bad, it was good. Louie had the best girl he could. When he took her home to meet his mama and papa, Louie knew just where he stood.
Oh.
There he stood in the night, knowing what's wrong from what's right. He took her home to meet his mama and papa. Man, he had a terrible fright.
This is good.
Louie nearly caused a scene, wishing it was a dream. Ain't no difference if you're black or white, brothers. You know what I mean. I mean,
is that good? So that's a good.
Well, it's about
it's positive.
It's about a black and white showing up to mom and dad, and they didn't understand, and it just got ugly. And again, when you hear it, you're like, whoa, is that a song? And I just heard it on a station here locally.
That's a song it should be. That's about interracial harmony and education.
Yeah, but it's a doozy. There's a lot of them out there. I think we're still going to have. And I'm surprised, to be honest with you. We talked about this several years ago. I'm surprised there's not a TV station that doesn't only play
TV or radio.
TV station that doesn't only play episodes of old TV shows that are so impolitically correct right now.
Well,
whether it's All in the Family, Beavis and Butthead.
Yep.
And that's all they play. I think it would be looked upon as though it's hate television, which is unfortunate, because there's a lot of, you could play Good Times, Sanford and Son, anything that is stereotyped, any type of ethnicity.
God, I forgot about Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna have two old black guys in a junkyard.
But see, and you know what I mean. That's the sad thing. That's the problem. Is you need trashing on white people. White shadow,
equal trashing.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a trash and white show?
Basketball players on White Shadow used to trash on their white coach a little bit. Yeah. But that was the white savior complex with White Shadow. I love it.
Exactly.